Welcome to .NET Technology. Today we will discuss about ADO.NET. The full form of ADO is a ActiveX data object. ADO.NET is a database technology of .NET framework used to connect application and database server. ADO.NET is one of the part of .NET framework. If you have learn .NET framework, at that time you must have an idea about in a .NET framework one of the component is a ADO.NET. At that time we have discussed that this component is used to provide the connectivity with the database. So ADO.NET is basically used in a simple word. We can say that its a use is when we are using any of the application and that application want to connect with the database, at that time we can use the concept of ADO.NET and its classes and object. Next we will understand difference between ADO and ADO.NET. ADO is used COM based library, component object modeling based library, where the ADO.NET is used CLR based library, common language runtime, and the functionality of CLR, as we know that it will provide memory management, garbage collection, exception handling, such kind of facility will be provided by that CLR. So it is very helpful us at the time of we are using database with our application. So first difference is based on the library. ADO use COM based library and ADO.NET use CLR based library. Second difference is that ADO work in the connected mode to access data, whereas ADO.NET works in the disconnected mode to access data. So here we have to understand what is the difference between connected mode and disconnected mode. In a connected mode, your database is directly affect or directly communicate with your application. There is no intermediate layer or intermediate component which used to communicate with your database. At that time it will use in a connected mode to access data. ADO.NET works in the disconnected mode. So here disconnected mode means we are using one of the data set over here and the database entire copy will be saved over there, and whatever the procedure we are performing in the data set, and then after it will reflected in the database. So this is the disconnected mode. Third difference is ADO.NET data is stored in binary format, where in ADO.NET data is stored in XML format. Why XML format? That will be discussed in benefit of ADO.NET. Then in a ADO, XML integration is not possible because it does not support XML format, and in a ADO.NET it integration with the XML is possible. And last difference is one of the main difference, because in a ADO it use a record set to store the data from data source, and in a ADO.NET it use data set to store the data from data source. Record set and data set. In a record set we can store one table information in a data source, where in a data set we can store multiple table information in a data set. So this is the basic difference between ADO and ADO.NET. Again, first is a COM based library, CLR based library, connected mode, disconnected mode, binary format, XML format. Integration of XML format is not supported, and XML integration is supported, and ADO use a record set, where ADO.NET use data set. This is the difference between ADO and ADO.NET. Here in our application we are using ADO.NET. So these are the functionality and these are the way in which we are going to work when we are using database in our application. Then benefit of ADO.NET. ADO.NET have mainly 5 benefit and advantages, in which first one is interoperability, then maintainability, programmability, performance and scalability. First, interoperability. It uses XML as we discussed in previous slide. So XML to transfer data across a network. This is not necessary that the destination component should be a .NET application. Any receiving component that is able to read XML can read the data specified in the XML format. XML file is used to transfer small amount of data, and it will generally open in a browser or notepad. So all the operating system that is basically support these two software, so it is easily readable and accessible at any of the platform. Then after, maintainability. If you want to change the architecture of your deploy application, then it can be easily possible in the ADO.NET, because when you are developing any of the application in a client server 2-tier architecture, the server tier on which the application is running is replaced with 2-tier. So 2-tier to 3-tier, 3-tier to 2-tier architecture change can be easily possible, so we can maintain our application easily. So second advantage is maintainability. Then programmability. Enable you to create program easily and with fewer mistakes in Visual Studio. ADO.NET allow you to access data through typed programming. If you have done some of the mistake, then also the correct part of your application will execute and gives you output. It's a programmability. Then performance. Provide fast execution of disconnected application over the disconnected record set in a classic ADO. When we are going to perform our application execution, then in a disconnected mode it will provide you the fast execution, because we are not dealing with the entire database in connected mode, but we are working with the data set which is the duplicate copy of our database. So we are working with the one of the copy in data set, so entire database will be not disturbed at the time of execution, so performance will be improved. And last, scalability. The application that are based on ADO.NET support disconnected across to data, so that the database are not locked by user query for long duration. We are not going to lock our entire database because we are working on one of the duplicate copy. Again, the same scenario will applicable over here, and we can improve our scalability. So this is the 5 advantage or benefit of ADO.NET, in which first interoperability, second one is a maintainability, third one is a programmability, and fourth one is a performance, and last scalability. So in this video lecture we have seen first introduction to ADO.NET, then difference between ADO and ADO.NET, and last benefit of ADO.NET. So I hope you understand this concept. Thank you for watching this video.